What's up guys, Luis here, and today we're going to be comparing the specs of the brand new flagship from Samsung, the Galaxy S6, against the Apple iPhone 6. Just keep in mind that the Galaxy S6 does have a little bit of an advantage over the iPhone 6 because it was released over a couple months later. So if you're eligible for a new upgrade on your contract or you're looking for a new phone and these two are your top contenders, then this comparison is going to be very beneficial for you. So starting off with the design, you can tell that the Galaxy S6 had a major overhaul. We're not looking at plastic anymore here, but we're looking instead at a very premium build quality. It now has a completely aluminum frame, and on the back you're going to find Gorilla Glass 4, so as you can tell this is a major upgrade from the Galaxy S5 and is competing directly with the iPhone 6 in terms of build quality. The camera also protrudes a little bit in the back, as you can tell, which is also an issue that we have on the iPhone 6, and it will be coming in black, white, gold, and blue. The iPhone 6 on the other hand has a unibody aluminum design that we are all very familiar with, and while it looks very sleek and classy, don't forget that it is also very slippery. And the camera also protrudes a little bit in the back, which will be a problem if you like using your phone on a flat surface. As far as how thin and light each one is, it's actually kind of interesting. The Galaxy S6 is slightly thinner than the iPhone 6 at 6.8mm thin, and the iPhone 6 is 6.9mm thin, but the iPhone 6 is slightly lighter than the Galaxy S6. The Galaxy S6 happens to weigh 4.87 ounces, while the iPhone 6 happens to just pull under 4.55 ounces. Now as far as the display, we're looking at a 5.1-inch Quad HD display on the Galaxy S6 with a total pixel density of 575 ppi. Now Samsung has actually decided to go once again with a Super AMOLED display, and with a resolution of 1440p, colors are going to look off the chart here. On the other hand, the iPhone 6 has a slightly smaller 4.7-inch IPS LCD display, and with a resolution of 1336 by 750, you're getting a pixel density of 326 ppi. So on paper, the display of the Galaxy S6 is slightly better than the one on the iPhone 6, but in real life situations, it's really not going to be that noticeable. Now as far as processing power, on the Galaxy S6 we're looking at the latest Snapdragon 810 processor, which is clocked in at 2.2 GHz, and it's octa-core and 64-bit. So yeah, overall it's a beast of a processor. It's going to be able to run all of your games and all of your media perfectly smooth. Some bad news is that it only has a 2550 mAh battery, and with that Quad HD display, it's probably not going to be a very good battery life on the S6. The iPhone 6 on the other hand has a 1.4 GHz dual-core processor known as the A8, and while it doesn't look nearly as impressive as the Snapdragon on the S6, do remember that it is also 64-bit. So again, the Galaxy S6 looks to take a lead on paper, but according to some benchmarks, the iPhone 6 actually happens to perform better on some tasks. Now both phones have performed generally well in the camera department for the past couple of years, and the Galaxy S6 has a 16 megapixel camera this year with much better optics and an f1.9 stop aperture. It also has a couple of features that the iPhone 6 doesn't have, like optical image stabilization and laser autofocus. The camera on the iPhone 6 on the other hand is relatively the same one that we saw on the 5S last year, but it does have a few improvements. Unfortunately, it still doesn't have optical image stabilization. That's only available on the 6 Plus, but it does have much better optics and better low light performance. It also has a 1.2 megapixel front facing camera, and the back camera can also shoot slow motion video at 240 frames per second and also full HD 1080p video. So while the iPhone does have a slightly lower megapixel count, I have to say that the photos that come out of the iPhone 6 are absolutely amazing. Even if it doesn't have optical image stabilization, I think it takes some of the best video and photos out of any smartphone, period. For the operating system, of course, we're looking at Android versus iOS here once again. The iPhone 6 is running the latest version of iOS 8, while the Galaxy S6 is running TouchWiz on top of Android 5.0 Lollipop. iOS 8 does bring a few improvements like Apple Pay and third-party keyboard support, but it is still a fairly limited operating system. TouchWiz, on the other hand, isn't prettier by any means, but according to Samsung, they've gotten rid of over 40% of their bloatware, which means that it will be more effective and a lot faster to use. And I could just go on and argue about which one is better, which one I like better, but it really all comes down to what you prefer. It really boils down to what ecosystem you are invested in, whether it's Android or iOS. They both have their pros and cons, and they are both great operating systems. So I hope that you now have a better idea of which phone is more suitable for your needs, and if you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments down below, and I will be sure to answer them. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one.